everyone, it's Nicole. I hope you're all doing well. And I just want to warn you, I do cry. We lost our precious Baxter, our Yorkie. This video is dedicated to Mr. Baxter. See this dirty dog? He is getting groomed on Tuesday. So I've been dreading making this video. What I'm going to talk about happened a month ago. If you've been on my channel at all, or especially if you were on it back in 2009, in March of 2009, for my anniversary present, my husband got me a dog. He was a puppy when we got him. I was really particular about what kind of animal I wanted. I didn't want a big one because I had never had a dog and I really wanted to just like practice. I drove to South Carolina from North Carolina, picked him up, and he puked the whole way home. I think it was 2 hours home. He was this little fur ball. His bark was so cute when he was a puppy. I don't remember like the nights of waking up and making him pee outside and all that. I don't remember doing that. So I'm sure it happened, but I don't remember it. I guess it's when you have a baby, you forget about that stuff. So for 4th of July, my oldest daughter came home from her internship for the week and we went camping for 4th of July because we were supposed to go to Nicaragua for our mission trip, but due to the unrest and unsafe stuff with Nicaragua, we couldn't go. So my husband and my son had already planned on going to Arizona while me and the girls were in Nicaragua. So we were like, okay, what do we do? So we decided to go camping. July 4th was a Wednesday and we packed everything up. My husband helped us move into the campsite and then him and my son went to Arizona the next day. So Baxter came with us and we were just gonna camp, just the girls camping. Haven't done that ever before, so with my daughters. So at that point, Baxter was acting just a little tired. He's 9 years old, so I figured he's slowing down, you know, he's an old man now. He's, you know, whatever that is in dog years. But then he just kind of sat in that chair, and that wasn't like him, especially if there were dogs around, and there were dogs around. A lot of times when we've gone to the lake in the past, or we went camping last year, he would want to run up to the water. He did not like going to swim, but he'd, you know, try to chase after dogs and all this other stuff. Well, I mean, dogs would walk through and he wouldn't even move, and I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? So fast forward that night, there was a bad storm, a super bad storm. So we actually sat in the car for like an hour and a half with me and the girls, and Baxter just sat in my car. And not because it was raining, because we had a big tent and all that stuff, but it was because of the lightning. And Baxter hates storms, and as he's gotten older, it's gotten worse. So he was just shaking and tired and lethargic, and you know, that's just how he gets. He wouldn't eat. I started to think it was a little weird that he wasn't eating, but I really thought it was just because we were camping and just lots of things have been changing in the house, and I don't know, for some reason, I didn't think it was a big deal. I just thought it was like a combination of a few things. As of Wednesday night, he still hadn't eaten anything. And then we went into the tent to go to bed. And at one point, I hear Baxter stand up because it was like the 2 air mattresses that my daughter's, Baxter in the middle, and then my air mattress. So he was on a blanket. So I hear him get up and kind of like walk around. So I turn on the light and I'm like, what is going on with him? And I thought it was just like after effects from the storm. Then I see he had thrown up. It was bile because he hadn't eaten anything. So we wrap him up in a towel, take him down to the shore of the lake and, you know, rinse him off so he doesn't have it in. And he starts drinking the lake water. He starts drinking it like I've never seen him drink anything before in my life. So I'm like, okay, he's thirsty. So we come back up to the campsite, dry him off and give him some water, fresh water, not lake water. And you know, he's good. So he goes back to sleep. Well, the next day he gets up to go to the bathroom. You know, we bring him outside to go to the bathroom. And after he goes to the bathroom, he kind of stands at the tent door to go back in, which is not like him. He likes to be, you know, with us outside. Like the girls and I were outside of the tent. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I'm like, no, bud, you're not gonna go back in the tent, because I didn't want him to like scratch the tent or anything. So I had put him back on his little chair and wrapped him up, put the towel down and you know, put him on top and let him just kind of sit there. So then as the morning was going on, the girls were really like, Mom, something's wrong with him. He's just not moving around. And he still hadn't eaten at this point. And we had tried to feed him like 3 different times. When I knew something was wrong is when I gave him some bacon from breakfast and he didn't even try it. He loves bacon. At that point I knew, okay, I should probably bring him to the vet. So I call the vet and I just tell them, you know, his symptoms, and she's like, okay, you know, I think you should bring him in. So I leave the campsite, I bring him into the vet, and they said, you know, we'll call you when we know something. So at that point, you know, I'm thinking, you know, he's dehydrated because he really wasn't drinking or eating anything, so they'll give him fluids or whatever. The girls kind of go out on the lake with the kayaks and stuff, and I'm on the shore because I'm waiting for the phone call and I can't exactly bring my phone onto the lake. I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I have my feet in the water. So then the first phone call comes and it's the vet, and she says that he's anemic, he's dehydrated. The dehydration was actually helping his anemia because I guess when you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, and they thought that he had, I can't remember what the word is, something with his intestines or whatever. Not the twisted intestine, but like the obstruction, I guess. Or a tear or something like that. So she was like, okay, you know, we can do more tests. The testing he needs has to be done at like a animal hospital. She said, that's gonna cost a lot of money. I was like, well, what is a lot of money? So she said, probably upwards about $3,000. Now, I've actually made videos where I talk about, I would always choose my kids over my animal, which is true. I would never spend money on my animal over my kids, which is true. But at that moment, what a terrible decision to make. I said, okay, let's do more tests. So she was gonna do some more blood work to see if she could figure, you know, what else was going on. And if that, you know, depending on what happened there, she was gonna have to refer him to a hospital. So I tell my husband, and he has disliked Baxter since the beginning. Up until about a year ago, they've developed this bond that they have. It's very cute. Actually, the day before we went camping, I have this very adorable video of him just wanting to be next to him. I'm recording you now, loving on him. He's like holding onto your hand.
Yeah, because we're buddies.
Okay.
This is my friend, Baxter. Oh, yeah.
My husband is in Arizona. His daughters and his wife are dealing with their sick dog. We get off the phone and I actually pray, I'm like, God, I don't want to have to decide between money and my animal. I don't want to do that. And I just ask God, you know, whatever this is, I asked him just to kind of make the way obvious. Whatever decision had to be made with the money and in the hospital and everything, I just wanted it to be set, almost like out of my hands, like totally in God's hands, out of my hands, because what a terrible decision. So the doctor called me back again and she says, you know, I'm still not finding anything. She said, I really think he just needs to go to the hospital. I'm like, okay. And then she says, you know what, let me try one more thing. She's like, I want to give him an ultrasound. She said, because an ultrasound will be able to see if he has cancer. And I'm like, ugh, gross. I don't even want to think about all that stuff. Like, that's too much to handle. So I'm like, okay, let's just get this ultrasound out of the way and rule this out and move on. About an hour goes by and I get a call. And the doctor tells me that he has cancer all over his body and multiple organs. And the reason why he was being so lethargic is because his stomach started to bleed. And to know that he was in pain, but she said animals are just trained to hide their pain. So she called at about 1:30 and we had to make the appointment for 3:30 for him to be put to sleep because he was in so much pain. Losing a pet is a pain that is so hard to explain to people. And I've been there. You know, people I know who have lost pets, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but I don't know, I couldn't empathize. So my daughters and I were in the room. They put down a blanket for him and us to sit with him. We were able to spend some time with him before that and just, you know, take some pictures and give him a kiss one last time. And the doctor and her assistant came in and started to administer the IV, and sitting next to him and just petting him and talking to him as he passed away. It was awful. It was so awful. And this is why This is why I put off making this video. But that animal, that wonderful, annoying, loud, obnoxious, goofy dog was with us for 8 years. So he deserves a video on YouTube as a tribute to him. My oldest daughter gave him a name, Baxter Kenny Wilcox. Kenny is my father-in-law's name, so that's the only reason why I think that his middle name was Kenny. So we paid to have him cremated. His ashes are in my room in a bag. My oldest daughter is still at her internship. She was only home for a week the whole summer, and it happened to be the week Baxter passed away. She was probably closer to him than anybody, and I really, honestly, 100% believe that that was God letting her have time with him, because had he passed away while she was gone, no, it would not have been good. Honestly, if she was gone, I probably would have driven him out there so that she could come back and spend time with him. Our camping trip was promptly ended before we went to be with him as he passed. We packed up as much as we could, but I have a little sedan, so we had to make 2 trips. So we did half the trip before and then half the trip after. That was terrible. Packing up a campsite after we were just with our amazing dog where he passed away was terrible. So the girls and I came home, and my poor husband and son, gosh, they couldn't say goodbye to him. They couldn't be there for us. I'm trying to not to make this video long, but so the girls and I came home that Thursday, so we only camped one night. Came home, watched movies, talked about Baxter, cried a lot. Every time I turned around and saw a pair of shoes, I thought it was him. I would hear him scratching at the door. I actually didn't go up to my room when we first got home until it was time to go to bed, because I didn't want to look at his little bed next to my bed. He slept next to me on his bed for 8 years, so I fell asleep crying. I woke up crying because I was facing that way when I woke up and just saw his empty bed. You never know how you're gonna react when your animal dies. Most people think I have a heart of stone. I guess I don't. So Friday and Saturday, my daughters and I watched every single Harry Potter movie for the first time. We were just not Harry Potter people. So we watched 4 movies on Friday and 4 movies on Saturday. Got Chinese food, ate junk food, talked about Baxter, cried some more. Obviously, it's still raw. I actually haven't cried since that weekend because I was trying so hard to be strong for my husband and my son and my daughters. I just wanted to make this to talk about pet loss and how much it sucks. So I've already said that we're never having another animal. My middle daughter has already talked us into getting a cat, but that has not happened. That will not happen until we move into our own house. We don't own this house. So I want you to know, if you've lost an animal, the sadness that you feel is not imaginary. It's so real. So I am so sorry that this is not my normal happy video. I definitely wanted to share. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all real soon. Bye guys. Every day, this is where he sat, right next to me. One thing you have to know about Baxter is he would always be at your feet. Whenever your feet were on the ground or on the couch, his neck would be on it and he'd want you to pet him. So there's a few places in our house that we have not had the heart to clean. So right there is where Baxter's nose would touch every time somebody came to the door. Every time he wanted to come back in the house. That was actually cleaned like 2 months before he passed away. I don't know, it's really weird. I feel like if I clean it, then I get rid of him, which I know is ridiculous and not true, but it's just weird. And so another thing that has been really, really hard with the passing of Baxter is the last place he ever laid. When we brought him to the vet, he obviously sat in my car. I put this towel down because I didn't know if he was going to get sick or not, and it has sat there ever since. It's an ugly towel, it's an old towel, and we cannot bring ourselves to take it off of this chair.